Everybody, welcome back. Today is the final day, the final drawing for your beginning drawings. These here, we did the U block, we did the Joe block, and now our last one here is the stairway. So take this one out of your binder, get it sitting on the table next to you as we're getting ready to create this. Okay, I'll give you a second to get that done. Remember, we're still working on our multi-view drawing and reading a blueprint. We have our top view, front view, right side view, and pictorial isometric. And from these views here, you should be able to find your dimensions in order to create this part. You can see we call this a stairway, how it comes across from the bottom. And then we go up, and then you go down, 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 down. There's 4 steps here. Okay, so this is why we call this one a stairway. This is what it should look like when we're done. Okay, to begin, let's switch over to our Inventor. And I have my drawing up here as well. We're going to be going to New at the top of your screen. We're going to click standard.ipt and click create. And we know by now how to set up a brand new drawing. Before we start drawing, we always go to start 2D sketch, which is the picture of the drawing page and the green plus mark. We always click on our XY plane. And we always click front in our world view cube right here in order to zoom out. Okay, now our stairway. You can see that we can't start really with a rectangle because it goes sort of half of a rectangle, then it steps down on these little levels. So we're going to end up using our line tool for this. So we're going to start with a line that goes along the bottom here, the one that's highlighted red. However, I don't see a dimension for it. So we need to look in a different view to find our dimension. And we're going to look up here in our top view to find this dimension of 4. We also have another line over here that goes from the bottom to the top. And this dimension for this line is also missing, so we need to find a different spot for this line. Over here it is 2 inches. Do you see that on your drawing? Okay, so let's start with those 2 lines. I'm going to, instead of grabbing a rectangle tool, I'm going to get my line tool. Starting at my origin, get your green dot, stretch out a line to the right hand side. Okay, make sure it stays locked on to that horizontal snap, and then we're going to take and enter in a dimension of 4. I typed 4 in that box there and press enter on the keyboard. Okay, so I have my 4-inch dimension. Do you see how I am still connected here though? I'm going to press the escape key. Then I'm going to go get another line tool, start at my origin, get my green dot, and I'm going to go up vertical in this one. Make sure you're perfectly vertical. You got that little snap tool that's there. You see that pop up, the little gray box? And in here, I am going to type my vertical dimension of 2. Press enter or return on the keyboard. Press the escape key. Now let's take and click front in our world view cube to zoom all. Okay, and you can see I have my bottom line here and my other line here. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take a line tool and we're going to make 4 steps. I'm going to start at the end point, and how do I know that I'm at my end point? I get a green dot that locks on there. Once it locks on, click, and I'm going to come out. Make sure I have that little gray box. See how it disappeared? There it is again. I'm going to click when it's perfectly straight. Come down, make sure that I'm vertical, perfectly straight. Come over, make sure I'm perfectly horizontal. And it's okay if they're not perfectly even. We're going to line them up that way when we dimension them. Come straight down, straight going horizontal again. You see that little gray box that pops up? This is my 3rd step, and I want to go down again. Make sure you're perfectly vertical. Come out. And I want to end right at the end of my part. Click. And then I'm going to close off by getting a green dot on the bottom of my line down here. Okay? Press the escape key to let go of your line tool. Now we're going to take in dimension. We're going to dimension the top of every single one of these steps. So starting off, I'm going to start off at the bottom. I'm going to click that bottom line for the step and bring that up. And if I take a look at my drawing, you can see each one of these steps is 1 inch. Okay, so we're going to dimension the first 3 steps. We don't have to do the 4th one. Going back to my part, I'm going to dimension. I click the bottom of my step, bring that up. My dimension that's here, make sure that that's highlighted, and I'm going to change whatever dimension that's in there to 1. Green check mark. Dimension tool again. Click your second step, bring that up. This dimension is also going to be 1. Type 1 into the dimension box, green check mark. Go to your third step. Bring this dimension up. This dimension is also 1. Green check mark. So now each one of these steps is 1 inch in length. Now we have to set the height of each one of these steps. So starting off with the dimension tool, we're going to go to the bottom of our step, that first vertical line. When it turns red, click, bring this dimension out. And this dimension we're going to change to 0.5, which is a 1/2 inch, 0.5. Green check mark. We're going to go to the next vertical line, this one right here. When it turns red, click, bring this dimension out. This dimension is also going to be 0.5. Green check mark. And I'm going to go to my third one. So this is the first one. Here's the second one. This is my third vertical line. Bring this dimension out. And this dimension is also going to be 0.5. Green check mark. Okay, so I have 0.5, 0.5, 0.5 going vertically. 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch going horizontally. Click green check mark, finish sketch. That kind of went off our page a little bit. No need to worry. We'll click home. And now we're going to go give our part depth. So let's go take a look at what we need for our depth on our drawing. So taking a look, going from all the way from the front of my block all the way to the back of my block. Let's see, front of the block, back of the block, I don't see a dimension here. So let's go to a different view. Front of my block, back of my block. There we go right here. 2.5 inches that is. So now I'm going to go back to my drawing. I'm going to extrude. Click your extrude. First extrusion that you do is always in direction number 2, the flip direction. And we're going to change our distance to 2.5. And click OK. Okay, now that kind of looks like our stairway. However, we need to take a chunk out of here. Take a chunk out of here for this area here. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn, rotate our block around so we see this left side. So on my world view queue, I have my top, my front, my right side view. I'm going to click this back corner, and then I'm going to click left in my world view queue. Okay? Now let's take a look at our sketch one more time. On this sketch, I can see that this area cut out here is 1.5, and it has a height of 1.63. Okay, so this little square is getting cut out of our stairway here. Going back to our part, let's take a 2D sketch, place it on your left side view. Now we're going to get our rectangle tool. We're going to start in that top right corner. Make sure you get your green dot in the top right hand corner. Stretch out this rectangle. My horizontal dimension going across there is 1.5. Press the tab key. My vertical dimension is 1.63. Press enter or return on the keyboard. Still holding on to my rectangle tool, so I'm going to press escape on my keyboard. And now I'm going to green check mark finish sketch. I'm going to extrude. And here let's go to our home position so we can see what's going on with our part. Okay, we see that that's going out the back, so we're going to have to flip our arrow around. So our direction, I'm going to take and flip this. So now it's going the right direction to cut this out. I need to enter a distance. Now instead of entering a distance, I can come over here to this symbol that looks like an arrow going through a bunch of pancakes. Click on through all. So I have flip direction. I have the arrow going through all. And I'm going to select OK. There. Now we look more like our part, don't we? Next we have to take and put our holes on. So we're going to come up to the top, get a 2D sketch, and we're going to place this on our top step. And I'm going to click top in my world view cube to zoom all. Okay, now I'm zooming in on that part. To make each hole, we're going to place a point kind of like we did with the drill block. And this hole that we're going to start with, following the note, it says all 4 holes are 0.38 in diameter, and they have a depth, this symbol here is for depth, of 0.75. And it's centered on the face. Okay, so let's take a look at how to do that. I'm going to take my point tool. I'm going to come across and come down. I'm going to place a point. Each one of these steps is 1 inch by 1 inch, so I'm going to go from each side to the point. And directly in the middle means that it has to be 0.5, green check mark. And then I need to put another dimension on from the top of the part to the center mark. Change that dimension to 0.5. Okay, see how I went from the top to the center, brought this dimension out as a 1/2 inch, 0.5, and from the left hand side to the center, brought that out 0.5. Now we're going to green check mark, finish sketch. We're going to use our hole tool. Now our hole tool, we're going to come down. The hole is a simple hole with no seat. Termination, we want at distance. And we're going to change our depth of the hole. Let's see what that says again. The depth of my hole is 0.75 right here, and the diameter is 0.38. So let's go enter that into our boxes. The depth of our hole right here, we're going to change to 0.75. The diameter of the hole, we're going to change to 0.38. Okay, so once again, simple hole right here. We have no seat. We have distance. I entered a distance of 0.75 for my depth. Enter a diameter of 0.38 and click OK. Now you're going to need to do that for these next 3 steps as well. Take a 2D sketch, place it on this second step down. Take your point tool, place it on that step. We're going to dimension from the left hand side to your point. And this dimension is 0.5. We're going to dimension from the top to the point. This dimension is also 0.5. Green check mark. Green check mark, finish sketch. We're going to use our hole tool. The hole tool should stay the same. We have simple hole, no seat, distance, 0.75, 0.38. Click OK. Okay, now you're going to repeat that for the last 2 steps here. And then you're going to come over here and you're going to see if you can figure out how to put a polygon on here. See how you can put a polygon on here and cut through for this part here. Okay, so we did these top 2 steps, put the holes on it. And you guys are going to finish up getting these 2 holes put on here, these 2 holes here. And then when you finish that, you're going to put a 2D sketch on this lower plane and look at a polygon tool at the top of your Inventor ribbon, and you're going to create a polygon here to the appropriate size and see if we can get that on there. Okay, but first start off with these 2 steps. Okay, We'll give you the time in order to create in class to try this out. You followed me through most of it. You just have to put 2 more circles on and then try this polygon tool. Okay? We'll see you in class, ready to go. You'll have fun with the stairway.